his favorite vase.
She always says don't play ball in the house.
Pork chops and applesauce. That's swell.
Marcia. Hey, you guys. Oh, my nose!
Welcome to Here's the Story, a Brady Bunch podcast. Hey, I'm not going to tear this thing apart. It's my favorite show. Episode 21, The Hero. The episode opens in Driscoll's toy store, the same one from the Kitty Carryall is Missing episode, with the same actor playing Mr. Driscoll. On the top shelf, you can see a small piano that my brother had in the 70s. A girl starts climbing the shelves to get a doll, and with the help of a clearly visible white rope pulled by an off-camera stagehand, the shelves rip away from the wall and come crashing down on the girl. Or they would have if it wasn't for Peter Brady to the rescue. He swoops into danger, grabs the girl, and leaps to safety just inches away. It was a pretty cool-looking stunt. The girl's mother and the store owner immediately start discussing a lawsuit. Wait, no, this is 1970. They start discussing how to get Peter in the newspaper. Peter gets home to his doubting brothers who don't believe his tale of heroism, but his parents sure do, and they're so proud. That's when the men from the newspaper syndicate arrive to bust up the joint. No, they've come to write up a story about Peter. It's good to see them using the same photo of a house across the street as a backdrop outside the front door as they did in the last episode, only now it's a close-up shot and in full sunlight. Very believable. Peter has been given the perfect episode to show off his uncanny ability of acting like an astonished yeller.
You mean my picture's gonna be in the paper? Wow!
This episode features an audio commentary with Barry Williams, Christopher Knight, and Susan Olsen. Greg, Peter, and Cindy. And Chris Knight points out that this episode featured the most guest stars. I counted 26 of them, with 8 of them having speaking parts. That's outside of the regular 9 people in the household. He also said that director Oscar Rudolph directed him to yell all the time, and he personally picked this episode for them to do the commentary for. Barry points out that the red-headed lady in the background of the toy store was Greg's stand-in. And Susan said that Cindy and Bobby's stand-ins were played by the 2 short actors that would later play the Kaplusians in a future episode. Do you remember that one? When the aliens came down in a UFO? Later, in the boys' bedroom, Marcia, Jan, and Cindy sneak up behind Peter, and while standing 3 feet behind him in a quiet room, they begin having a conversation about him in their absolute loudest whispers that he, of course, cannot hear. Until they step forward 1 more foot to tell him how proud they are of him. Greg and Bobby find him to apologize about not believing him earlier and express their pride in him as well. Then Alice makes the hero a big dessert.
Wow! I love it!
The next morning, Alice gets the paper to see that Peter is on the front page, and now the whole world will know just how important he is.
How does it feel to be famous?
Wow!
Peter takes the paper to his room to cut out the photo and paste it in his scrapbook. The last page of his scrapbook. Quite the full life for this 12-year-old. Now Peter starts flexing in front of the mirror, gives all his chores to his siblings, and holds court in the yard to tell his ever-exaggerating story to all the schoolyard bullies and street toughs. One thing I noticed is all the various colors of socks the boys are wearing. I had forgotten that back in the 70s, my socks were made of a thick wool that went up to my knees and came in an assortment of manly colors. Not like the tiny white girly socks of today that may as well be ballerina slippers. Now the mother of the girl that Peter saved takes him back to the toy store to buy him anything he wants. We see plenty of Kitty Carryalls, which my autocorrect always changes to Kitty Larryall when I'm typing up these scripts. Back at the Brady house, as Peter's fed-up siblings try to stay out of his way and let their parents know how this has all gone to his head, a very flirtatious delivery man shows up to sweet-talk Alice into carrying in a toy store full of boxes into the house. That delivery man was played by Joe Conley, who would go on to play the storekeeper Ike Godsey in 172 episodes of The Waltons. That's a pretty good gig. Peter gets a talking to by his parents in the den, and Mike is sporting some artistically sculpted sideburns. As they head out to the living room, we see that there is a door to the hallway that leads to the den. I don't remember seeing that before. But now the newspaper men have come to unravel the parental discussion he just received by giving him yet another award.
Wow! $50! Wow! And thanks!
Peter throws himself a big party to celebrate just how awesome he is, and he invites all his friends. As he calls each one of them, we see that they all live in separate corners of the Brady parents' bedroom. Peter, in his best avocado green suit, waits for his guests to arrive, and none of them do. What does arrive is his lesson, and he learns it well.
Boy, a guy can sure get messed up patting himself on the back.
But his family doesn't let him down. They all surprise him by screaming for him to come down to the party. Hooray for the hero! And the little girl and her mother are there as well. A lesson learned and family togetherness here on the Brady Bunch. Until next time.